I am extremely sad and disappointed with the level of racial discrimination in the United States of America. I came for the American dream. I'm finding myself in something called the American nightmare. I was hit by 2 cars at 75 miles an hour 7 years ago. And I have been dealing with this. I have multiple injuries, cervical dystonia, I have low back pain, I have emotional distress, trauma, I have CRPS, I was diagnosed with, I have nerve damage. So almost on a daily basis, the nerve, it's called the sciatica nerve. It attacks me, meaning it will pull my leg and I will be rolling on the floor, crying and screaming until it calms down. So this is for 7 years I've been dealing with this. So the bottom line is I have been to 15 hospitals in Washington State, and none of these hospitals is willing to help me. They tell me that I need to go back to my physician who's in charge of my case. The accident happened while I was on training, with the Washington State Department of Health and Social Services. So I was their employee. So therefore, it is work-related accident. I lost my job. They terminated me because I'm no longer able to do my job. And the insurance company is not insurance company, regular insurance company. It's part of Washington State government, one of their department called Labor and Industries, Washington Workers' Comp Labor. So anyway, they have been denying my medical treatment almost on a regular basis. They even issued a letter, I have it in writing with their logo, with their name, telephone number, everything, that I'm not allowed to go to the emergency room unless I get prior authorization, as if God has connection with me to tell me that my medical emergency is going to happen after, no medical emergency is going to happen after 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, and no medical emergency on Saturday and Sunday, which is absurd. It's crazy to issue a decision from a government telling me I cannot go to a hospital, to emergency room. If I have yes, I said, let's see what's the definition of medical emergency. In a third world country, there is a common definition in the entire world about medical emergency, that you have to go to the closest as fast as possible to receive medical attention. That's what you don't wait for the insurance company to give you authorization, because the insurance company doesn't work 24/7. So anyway, to make the long story short, I have been suffering from something called systemic racism. You see, in America, we have something called medical discrimination. We have something called racial discrimination. We have a total of 74 million racist people in America. Donald Trump had 74 million votes, and he is very well spoken about his racist opinions, not just against people of color, against you from Africa, even if you don't live in America. He loves one person only, called Donald Trump. So anyway, I am experiencing systemic racism in the bus, in hospitals, in the government, in schools, with doctors, with independent medical examiners, in apartment, everywhere. I don't know how I attract them. It must be my brown skin and my name, Khalil, and my accent. I have English accent, right? So I have been to more than 15 hospitals in Washington State. They refuse to treat me. Most of the time, they will call police for me to escort me out of the hospital. While I am not moving, This is real. This is fiction, No one believed this in America happened, but it is happening actually in writing. I have evidence. I can show you evidence where they say, the last one a week ago, they told me, we are looking at you in the emergency room in Covington Hospital. We are not seeing you dying. And you are talking. So you don't have medical emergency. So there is a new definition for medical emergency according to hospitals in Washington State. Only if you are dying, they will help you. Otherwise, out. So I said, my goodness, this is something new I am learning now. And they don't like that. They don't like anybody, any patient who is very informed, knows about his conditions, his pain, all that stuff. And they don't like anybody who questions their authority. You see, so they kicked me out, and they told me in writing that it was not a medical emergency, and I need to go to my primary physician who is with the same hospital called Multi-Care General Hospital. They have clinics for primary care. So I went to see my doctor, Angela Sabra. She's half Lebanese, half Brazilian, but that doesn't mean that she's not racist, because racism doesn't have a color. Black could be racist, brown could be racist. It's not just white and black, So anyway, I went to see her, Angela Sabra, and I have my walker. You see, I don't know to show you. You see, my walker? So I took my walker, took a taxi cab, and went to get help. I went there at 7:45 a.m. last Friday, which is February 5th, Friday. And she came and she said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Well, I cannot sit in the bathroom. I cannot sleep. I cannot walk. I am using my hands and knees to crawl in my apartment, in my room. And I cannot sleep from the pain, severe pain. I cannot have normal conversation." And she goes, "Oh, I will give you an injection, Toradol, for inflammation, because my legs are swelling and severe pain that, my eyes are red." And she said, "Also, I will refer you to an orthopedic." I said, "Sure." And then she told me, this is the last time she will see me going forward. I have complex issues from the accident, and she doesn't feel comfortable to treat me anymore. So she said, "I will go and get the injection. I will make the referral, and that's it. I will not see you again." I said, "Okay, thank you for being honest." So she left the room. The medical assistant came in, and she didn't mention anything. Normally, they give me what they call it, visit summary. The visit summary they gave me, it doesn't talk about referral to an orthopedic like she told me verbally, and it doesn't talk about the injection for the pain. So I asked the lady, I said, "Where is the injection? Dr. Sabra told me that she's gonna inject me for the pain." And she goes, "No, she's not aware of that. Here is your referral, and there is another blue sticker to go to imaging department to do X-ray for my hip and my left leg." So I said, "Are you sure?" She said, "Yes." So I went to the imaging. They tried to take X-rays, and from the severe pain, I couldn't sit in bed, even though they put some pillows under my knees to raise them. So I was crying during the process of taking X-rays. And the technician, she didn't feel comfortable. She felt very nervous, concerned about my well-being. She brought her supervisor. The technician name is Wendy, and the supervisor, her name is Janelle. Both are white Caucasian. So the supervisor came and she said that she is concerned about, my condition because I cannot move. And she decided to call the manager of the imaging department because this is something serious. Why the doctor send me there in this condition without sending me to the hospital, which is like 20 meters away in the same building? So the supervisor was very kind and caring, both the technician and the supervisor. The manager was a little bit unfriendly, hostile, saying, "What do you want us to do?" I said, I didn't ask you to come here. I didn't bring you. I didn't ask for you. You know, I'm not asking you for anything. You are not a doctor. You are an administrative person. So the supervisor asked me, what am I going to do? I said, well, I cannot go to this emergency room next door because they just dismissed me last week. They said they cannot see me unless I am dying, only if I'm dead or dying. So she said, this is unbelievable. I said, yeah, I have it actually in writing. So anyway, I told her I'm going to go to a different hospital. So she was very kind. I had an MRI and CAT scan that was done 3 years ago at their department. She made a disc for me, and she asked for a quick review for my X-rays, so I will have them on CD. And she actually printed the the radiologist report as well, just in case the CD is corrupted. And she said, you take them with you. So I got out of the imaging department by the main door. I called 911 because I was just trying to, almost falling on the floor. The fire department, Puget Sound Fire Department came. They didn't believe my story, that the doctor told me she didn't give me anything, no medicine, no pain medication, no injection, no nothing. And she told me she will no longer see me. They said, this story doesn't add up. There's something wrong. I said, why don't you go to the second floor? It's just 3 minutes through the elevator and ask her. So one of them went to Dr. Sabra to ask her. They told him she's very busy right now. So then he came. He asked the chief, the fire chief, to go. Well, this time, Dr. Sabra talked to the fire chief. It is something serious, And indeed, she told them she cannot no longer see me. She doesn't feel comfortable giving me any medication. I need to get medical attention somewhere else in the hospital. And she never told me, she never referred me to a hospital. So they asked me where I want to go. I said, I cannot go to Valley Medical Hospital. I cannot go to Covington Medical Hospital. I cannot go to Swedish Medical Hospital. I cannot go to St. Francis Medical Hospital. I cannot go to St. Joseph Medical Hospital. I cannot go to Harbor View Medical Hospital. I cannot go to Overlake Hospital in Bellevue. They are all rejecting me. They flagged me. They have red flags. As soon as I get there, ambulance or no ambulance, the same result. So I said, you know what? There is one about 42 miles away from my location. It's called Evergreen Hospital in Kirkland, Washington. Could you take me there? They said, it's far. I said, well, the rest of them, they will not accept to help me. They will reject me. So they said, no problem. So the ambulance came. They put me in the ambulance. They took me to Kirkland City, to Evergreen. It's like fiction. So I went there, and I have my walker. They loaded my walker in the ambulance. And when we got to the hospital, they took me to the waiting room. They put the band on my arm, and a nurse came to take my temperature and my blood pressure. So he took my blood pressure. It was 229/60, which means I could have a stroke or heart attack in any second from the pain, causing the blood pressure to be very high. So he attempted to take my temperature. So he inserted the thermometer under my tongue, and he said, no temperature. You don't have any temperature. You are very cold. I kept my mouth shut. I don't want to have confrontation from the first minute. So then he attempted second time, you have no temperature. Third time, you have no temperature. Fourth time, he gave up. He said, you don't have any temperature. I said, sir, you are a nurse, medical nurse. He said, yes, he's a medical nurse. I said, I am not medical nurse. I don't have any medical background. I have a master's degree in business administration. I have never heard in my entire life that a human being can talk without having any temperature. I said the Eskimo, the people who live in Alaska with the ice, with the polar ice bears, they do have temperature, and they live in 50 below zero. So why wouldn't I have temperature? Only time a human being doesn't register a temperature only if they are dead. Then they have zero temperature. I am not dead. So the other explanation, I'm a ghost. If I have no temperature and I'm still talking to you, then I'm a ghost. So he didn't like the comment, and he goes, well, that's the way it is. You need to go to the waiting room. There is no room for me, because the hospital is full with COVID cases. I said, okay. So I said, okay. He wheeled me on the wheelchair, not my walker, and put me in the waiting room. And I said, sir, would you mind please to get me my walker from the ambulance? He got very angry. He said, I am not going to chase the ambulance to get your walker. I said, sir, I'm not asking you to chase the ambulance. The ambulance is still inside the hospital. They have to sanitize the bed just in case somebody else wants to use it. And he said, again, I'm not going to chase the ambulance to get your walker. I said, no problem. No, I told him, that is rude. I said to him, that is rude. And I am not really impressed. This is my first time in this hospital, by the way. And the first impression, it's not very good. First, I am a dead person while talking, no temperature. Second, and you are a nurse in an emergency room, not a nurse in home care facility. This is a major hospital. And second, I ask you to get me my walker from the ambulance before they leave, and you tell me you're not going to change it while it's still inside the facility. And then he got angry. I said, when he got angry and he said, if I don't like it, I can go somewhere else. I said, sir, you are not rude. You are very rude. And I said, I lost it. When you lose everything, Lucy, there is nothing to lose. This is it. You lost hope. You become hopeless and helpless. And you start talking their language, which is not justifiable, but this is the explanation. I have severe pain, and I'm not seeing any humanity or compassion from them. So I said, you have the worst customer service I ever seen in my life. You see, when they see my face, they make assumptions that I have no education, I am from the street, and I am stupid. They always make perceptions. They make assumptions, stereotypes. Khalil, Middle Eastern, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? This is the stereotypes that half of the United States population have about people from the rest of the world. They think the world is part of America. They don't think America is part of the world. You see, they never think like that. So anyway, I took my walk. While talking to him, the paramedic brought my walker. He told me that he's not going to chase them in the freeway. Well, they walked with my walker in the waiting room. So I took my walker and I decided to leave from the exit. It's one of the emergency exit. Because, I already have hostile environment. Why would I, stay there? I exited the hospital. I went to the main road. When I got to the main road, I have my cell phone. I called 911 because there is one more hospital left in the entire Washington state, in the entire Western Washington state that I haven't been to. It's called Providence Catholic Hospital. So I thought maybe in Everett, Washington. So I called 911 I told them where I'm sitting, on the sidewalk, and they came. They assessed the situation. I told them the story. They said they will call the ambulance and they will take me to Everett Hospital. The ambulance arrived, and it is not the same ambulance that took me, TriMed. The company is called AMR, American Medical Response. Okay, so the fire department, three staff members, and 2 in the ambulance. One of them, you can tell that he's hostile without even saying a word. He's looking at me with hate. I swear, this is the truth, nothing but the truth. So he told me, why do you want to go? Why would you come to the north part of Western Washington? Why couldn't you receive help from 5 hospitals around your town? I said, they refused to treat me. They said, I'm not dying, and I'm talking, therefore I don't have a medical emergency. No, that doesn't make sense. I said, why don't you, sir, call them and verify with them and ask them that question? This is what I heard. This is what I read in their reports. So if you don't like the answer I gave you, call them, get a better answer. He goes, oh, you have an attitude. I said, no, I don't have an attitude, sir. You asked me a question. I gave you the answer. You didn't like my answer. I don't have any more answers. You can get your own answer by calling them. And he said, I am argumentative. I said, sir, again, I called you to transfer me. The fire department called you to transfer me to Everett Hospital. You are interrogating me. You didn't even attempt to take my blood pressure or do anything. You're just standing. I am not here I didn't call you for interrogation. I called you to give me some help to send me to Everett Hospital, Providence Hospital in Everett, Washington. And he said, my attitude is not going to take me anywhere. I said, sir, why don't you just go back to where you came from, the same office building? I don't need your help. I will walk home, die in my own apartment with dignity, than be subjected to a racist people like you. This is what I said. So I took my walker on the sidewalk, rode my walker about maybe 25, 30 meters away from the fire department truck and the ambulance. While on the sidewalk, it's a main road, it's not a private road. It's not part of the hospital property. While walking with my walker, I had a sciatica attack. I fell on the ground, on the sidewalk. I started screaming because this is what the sciatica nerve does. It is debilitating. So one of the fire department staff came after 2 minutes, and he said, oh, you and I are having good rapport. We communicate very well, easily. Let me ask the ambulance take you to Everett Hospital, Providence Hospital in Everett. I said, sir, do you think I am 6 years old? I'm crying and you bring me candy. You want to give me candy? You just 5 minutes ago, you were enjoying the conversation with the racist person. You didn't step in. You didn't interfere. You didn't ask him to stop interrogating me. Now you want to tell me that you care about me, you want to help me. Why didn't you help me before? All of you cover each other. You are all basically refuse to help me. So I am not a child to change my mind now. I don't need your help. I'm going to go home and die home. Then he told me, you cannot sit on the sidewalk. It's illegal. I said, well, I never knew that law, because I work with the law. I used to work as part lawyer, and I am not blocking traffic, and I'm not blocking pedestrians. There was 0 pedestrians, and I'm not in the street to block traffic. He said, if you don't leave the sidewalk, he's gonna call the police and arrest me. I said, no problem. I will force myself to stand up again and move before you bring me the police. And then he said, going forward, you are no longer allowed to call 911. I said, wow, there must be new laws in 2021. These are new laws in America. So I said, thank you so much, sir. Don't worry. I apologize for the inconvenience for falling on the sidewalk and for calling 911. So I pushed, as I stood on my legs and grabbed the walkers, I saw 5 police SUVs, cars, including the sheriff. They are marked with sheriff. And they are driving as fast. It's like, there is a war zone. They're becoming crazy. I don't know what they told them. I have knives or I have guns. I have no idea. But I never seen a policeman driving like that unless there is a shooting. They're crazy. Well, the policeman didn't come to me, but they kept circling me. And I am walking. I crossed the traffic light to go to a residential area, thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to happen to me again. This is going to happen to me like what happened in America, where they shoot people and they say, oh, he is public threat. He has a knife or he has a weapon or something, And so I thought, okay, maybe if I go into a residential area, somebody will witness that I didn't threat them. I'm running away from them, So, because my adrenaline was going so fast, I couldn't think of my cell phone to make a video of them, all of them. If I did that, that would be a killer, But with all the emotional stuff, and I have PTSD from the accident, so and I have mild brain injury, so I couldn't think, because of the pressure. So I had nervous breakdown. I start crying and breathing fast. I called 4 friends. None of them answered because I just want to tell them that the police is chasing me. Just in case they shoot me, somebody will know what is happening, because they will make a story, and believe it or not, everybody will buy it because no witnesses and no other story apart from their story. So nobody answered. And then I thought, okay, maybe I will call my case manager with the government, with Washington State government. She's in charge. Her name is Courtney Kibidu. So I called Courtney. She answered the telephone. She recognized my number. She answered. I am crying hysterically and breathing so fast. My heart is racing. And she gave me instructions. I told her briefly that the police is chasing me. I think they're going to shoot me. This is what's happening. I am in front of this hospital. I don't know this city. I've never been to. I don't know where I am even. I don't see any address. My cell phone, internet doesn't work. It's out of range. And she instructed me to breathe, take deep breath, so she can understand what's going on. She said, why don't you move to a safe area? I said, what do you mean by safe area? She asked me to look for a business parking lot, to go there and wait until she talked to her manager and possibly send me a taxi cab to take me home. So I saw one orthodontist clinic. So she's on the phone and I'm using my one hand with the walker. And then I went into the parking lot, but then I kept thinking, okay, this will justify shooting me or arresting me because now I am on private property. Because I was not allowed to sit on the sidewalk, even though I have medical emergency. So I thought, no, I need to leave. So I told her I cannot go there because they're going to do the same thing. This is private property. They did it in the public property. How about private property? So I went back to the main street, crossing one traffic light, walking by some homes. And then I saw a park, so I kept going that direction, hoping that I will see a business where they have an address, because the orthodontist doesn't have the street number on the building, or it could be from different side. So anyway, I went in, and while I'm at the intersection, I still see many police vehicles driving in circles around me within 1 block radius. I see them in all directions. I don't know. They didn't talk to me, but they had something, waiting for something. Maybe they think I have a gun. I don't know what they were told. So the bottom line, I went into the chiropractic clinic, and I asked them for a business card. I still have the number of the person who took me to my primary physician at 7:15. So I called him. He said he needs an address. Park will not help me. He needs an address. So I gave him the address, and then he said it takes him 45 minutes to get there to pick me up and take me home. And that's what happened. Then, so the first day, I'm still actually having nervous breakdown. Second day, I called the Kirkland Fire Department. I left a voicemail that I have serious complaint about some of their staff for systemic racism. And actually, the second man in the organization, the fire chief assistant or whatever, vice, second person, called me. His name is Tim Day. So I gave him the details. He said he wants to call the government, speak with the case manager, and then do his own investigation, ask the 3 firefighters, and possibly contact the hospital as well as the police and see why they did what they did. But he agreed with me, it is illegal. Under no circumstances it's acceptable. It's not. What they did to me was 100% wrong and deserved punishment. So he set up an appointment last Thursday to tell me the result of his investigation. So he asked me, what is the best outcome for you out of this? He said, I believe your story. He spoke only with one of them, not the one who told me it's illegal to sit on a sidewalk or call the police. And the other 2, they are on vacation. They come on Wednesday, this Wednesday, 2 more days. And then he set up a new appointment on Thursday at 3 o'clock. So he said, these 3 officers, fire department officers, they have hundreds of good reviews, emails, kudos. I said, I don't really care about the 10 million kudos and good reports. I care about what I experienced. That's what counts. The illegal action they took, the discrimination against me because I have a color, brown color, and my name, and I have an accent. So whatever you say doesn't mean anything to me. Because if this is not systemic racism, I don't know what systemic racism is. And he said he agrees with me. I said, look, I don't want to make emotional decision to tell you what I want as an outcome, but I'm going to think about it. But I believe it's not just the gentleman who told me it's illegal to call 911 and it's illegal to sit on the sidewalk, even if it is caused by medical emergency. If I have a heart attack and fall on the sidewalk, I am not allowed legally to sit until somebody help me or gain my conscience. So he said, I said, the 3 of them, the other 2, they are not innocent. The 3 of them, they were listening to the racist guy, the paramedic in the ambulance, who started interrogating. None of them, they were smiling to them with each other, and they didn't intervene. They are supposed to intervene, right? If they see something wrong. The ambulance job is to take me to the hospital, not interrogate me, So I said, minimum, they need to be fired, the 3 of them. They need to be held accountable to their actions. And I believe they need to join Donald Trump and work in one of his towers, because they will do a good job with Donald Trump. He said he agrees with me 100%.